This is week 1, day 2 of the K-Enable Fitness Gym Acclimation Program for the visually impaired. The purpose of today is to continue your work with the 3 sets of 10 rep scheme paradigm with some different movements this time. We're going to be going more horizontal with our pulling and pressing, as well as integrating some squat patterns. We're also going to ask you to practice loading a barbell. This is going to seem a little bit tedious or inane or even scary at first, but building this skill and practicing it and figuring out your system for doing this, especially in your gym setting, is going to be incredibly important. So make sure that you go through your independence builder of the day in order to have a step-by-step process for how you are going to go about loading the barbell, as well as some different weights that we want you to practice loading so that you're able to get used to finding some of those smaller change plates and be able to handle those big weights and get used to how to do this in a lot of different ways, which is, again, much more of a long-term benefit for you. Now that you're past that scary barbell loading stuff that could be a little bit tedious as well, you're going to be doing your warm-up. Again, 5 minutes of nice steady state cardio. We want to be able to have a nice conversational pace, so don't build up too much of a sweat. We still want you to be able to complete full sentences. And then we're going to move on to the workout. Again, for all 3 of these is going to be 2 warm-up sets with 3 sets of 10 at your top working weight after that. Exercise number 1 is going to be a horizontal pull. This is going to be all rowing movements we could think of. This could be a barbell or dumbbell or a cable bent over row. This could be chest supported rows where you're lying on an incline bench and pulling dumbbells up towards you. And anything else that you could think of where you're pulling against gravity and trying to hug something into you is going to be a great option for this. These types of movements are incredibly important for posture, which is something that we all have to focus on all the time. Exercise 2 is going to be a horizontal press. This is probably going to be the more fun one for you. So our different options here are going to be a barbell or dumbbell bench press. We can always mess with doing an incline or decline bench press as well. And keep in mind there are a lot of machine options for this too. The last option I'll throw out there is push-ups. So keep in mind that if you are doing push-ups, you're going to be able to do those on different surfaces, whether your hands be up on a bench, in order to make it a little bit easier, be a sort of a decline push-up, and then you could be on the floor, or you could have your feet raised higher than your hands, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult. Go ahead and find variants that work for you for both warm-up and workout for your 2 warm-up sets and your 3 sets of 10. Exercise 3 is going to be a squat movement. Again, 2 warm-up sets, 3 sets of 10 with 60 to 90 seconds of rest in between. And you can do a barbell back squat, a Smith machine where we're locked in somewhere. You could conceivably do a leg press as long as you feel comfortable with it. Goblet squats, squats onto a box, all these are great options. And make sure you refer to the PDF for some further options. Next is going to be our core circuit again. This is going to be a repeat of day 1 where we are working the front plank and side planks for sets of 10 to 20 seconds of high quality work, making sure that you stay well within your max. We don't want to be overly fatigued and start falling into some bad postures. Today, we are including a little twist by making sure you can squeeze your glutes during these movements. So if you can actually squeeze your butt, it's much more likely that your pelvis is staying in proper alignment and that we're not allowing the spine to go into a weird posture and wind up hurting you down the road, or even just have a less effective ab exercise. So make sure you're squeezing your glutes during the exercise today. And then you're going to move on to your last exercise, which is just going to be some steady state cardio. So I just want you to pick a machine and perform 10 to 20 minutes of steady state cardio. Again, just like the warm-up, it's going to be a conversational pace. If you really feel like pushing it at the end and huffing and puffing and getting out of breath a little bit, that's okay. Just make sure that in general, this is going to be a little bit longer than our interval work. And then we're going to be able to derive that good aerobic benefit from this. This has been week 1, day 2 of the K-Enable Fitness Gym Acclimation for the Visually Impaired program.